Can you imagine a company committed to reinvent the fast food industry by introducing a fully autonomous, self-contained robotics restaurant that is capable of providing fresh and fast food? Well, that's a reality. Hey guys, and welcome to one more episode of Builder Nation. For today's interview, we have Udi Shamai, co-founder and CEO at Hyperfood Robotics, the company transforming fast food delivery restaurants into fully automated units. So welcome, Udi. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining Builder Nation.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a pleasure and honor. I come from the food industry. I've been in the food industry most of my life. I've been in Domino's Pizza and then Pizza Hut. I'm actually the franchisee of Pizza Hut in Israel. I've been franchisee for a long time. So I know the food business very well. Now, over the years, I've had a passion for high tech. I'm an entrepreneur in my nature, so I was looking to change all the time. I built some point of sale, a decision support system, payment processing companies like First Charge and EasyPay, and then Dragontail. The last thing I've done before Hyper was Dragontail, which went public and then was bought by Yum Brands, and now it's been used all over. So I come from that industry. And the other thing that was missing was actually taking the human factor out. Now, it sounds bad. I know it sounds bad, but I don't think it's such a bad thing because nobody wants to work anymore in this industry. We'll talk about it later, but going back to where I come from, I have two partners, and one of them is a great engineer and entrepreneur and ex-CEO of two other companies. And my other partner is Ariel, ex-military, out-of-the-box thinker, very smart. So all three of us together built the company you see as Hyper now.
I know that you guys recently secured funding from Velocity Ventures. So I wanted to congratulate you on that. And I wanted to ask you, how was that process for you, getting all the funding at the beginning?
Co-funding is not an exciting thing for me. I don't like going and asking for money. I put my own money, by the way, in the company. And so I think it's a very difficult investment. It's not for everyone. The reason is that it's a software, hardware, and operation. Any way you look at it, it's not an easy investment and it's not an easy decision to take if you want to invest. So I never feel bad about somebody who doesn't invest. I see a lot of VCs, and I think that people in that process are a bit skeptic. This is early days in the business. But on the other hand, that we have a few VCs and we have a lot of angels. So hopefully they'll be rewarded for that. And now that we're going into the US in some aspects, we see bigger VCs and bigger investment companies. And sometimes when we talk to people, I think it looks good from our position, but we still have a lot to prove.
Such an honest answer. Thank you so much for sharing. Whenever I talk to CEOs and funders, most of them say that the process with VCs or angel investors and all of that, it's quite hard and it's tough and it's tiring. So yeah, I totally understand. I'm curious. So I was reading an article about you guys, and I heard that your kitchens can manufacture maybe 120 pizzas per hour. So how is this like?
So people are building parts of the whole process, like models that are doing specific jobs, like stretching dough or, dispensing toppings and so on. And to those, we're doing full concept. Now, we are doing full concept. So when you look at it, it's very, very complicated. There's so much, I'd say, technology pressed into the stores that we're building. Just to understand the size of what we're talking about is that there are hundreds of sensors. There's about 40 AI cameras inside. Take picture of every single move, analyze the dough, whether it's the right dough, analyze the toppings, whether it's the right toppings that we're taking. And of course, there's the process itself. Like, for instance, just the packaging is amazing and the bundling is amazing. And if you look at the dough proofing, they are duplicated. That makes all the application of dough by itself. It's not a press like what you see in so many other companies that you press the dough because all the air comes from the sides. So you're getting a flat dough. We build a system of stretching dough that imitates real Italian stretching, which keeps the bubble inside the dough. That was a big challenge, I say. And now selling it, and it's amazing, amazing piece of machinery. Another interesting point, having talked about the technology inside, I'd say that one of the most interesting things is the dough storage. And the reason is that dough storage is quite interesting because just think of it that humans are taking it from the storage, taking it out, placing it into the dispenser and all that. And you need to be very accurate if you want to get the best result. So being very precise is a challenge. One of the things that we're proud of is the fact that there's less waste. The last thing I want to tell you specifically about the technology is that whoever is building a full concept knows that to clean the store is the biggest challenge of all, because humans cannot enter. There's no way to clean it yourself. Now, the way we handled it is that we clean the store every 40 minutes by ozone water.
Thank you so much for sharing. And I think it's super interesting and unique, all the information you just shared. So now we talk about the technology, and you mentioned that it's not only software, but also hardware. Hardware is such an important part. And now that we're talking about it, I wanted to ask you, since it's also a hardware company, you guys survived the pandemic. So I wanted to ask you about the challenges there with procurement or supply chain issues.
Yes, we do. We have challenges all the time. Don't forget that it's all proprietary. So we build everything ourselves. There's nothing that we buy off the shelf. So because there's so many components inside, some components, take time. They get from Asia, some components are from the US. So it's quite challenging because you always wait for something. And if something goes wrong with one of the elements, then you need to order another one. When you're building something, you got to have the patience. So there are problems in the supply chain all the time, but getting over it, and we're learning a lot from all the problems we tackle. I think we're getting better at it, but we still have a lot to learn.
And one of the last questions I wanted to ask you, where do you think the future of robotics is going?
I think that in just a few years, there won't be any human workers in the fast food delivery industry. Kitchens are already changing. I don't have enough time to tell you how many changes are being made. Even QSRs are changing, that they are taking this technology in. So the front may be still humans taking care of people and the service, but the back of the house is completely automated. So future looks very robotic, very automated all over. To be more precise, I'd say that every business will be fully automated. So in that sense, you'll be not wise to use humans. They're more expensive, but also not a lot of people want to work in this industry anymore. And they're right. I think that it's all for good. And there's so many smart companies around, and there's so many smart people who are handling. I was listening to the competition, I was listening to Picnic, and they're doing great things and smart things, and there's room for everyone because everything is changing. Even if 10 other companies would come in, there'll still be place for everyone. And I think amazing things are being done in this industry.
And last but not least, Udi, do you have a piece of advice that you can share with us for future entrepreneurs or CEOs starting on this path?
I'd say the most important thing is don't let the challenges hold you, and always take it seriously. Feel like that you're inspired, you want to do big things, you want to take things forward. I think that there's always a way to go. So as I said, we're learning all the time. So don't feel bad about mistakes, because mistakes is part of the journey. Learn from them. And the biggest thing is enjoy the journey, because the journey itself is the whole thing. So enjoy every minute.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing. Such a great piece of advice. And thank you so much, Udi, for being here, for sharing your experiences. Do you have any social media handles? Where can people find you or the company?
We're on LinkedIn, and we got our site, and we're a lot on YouTube, and there's a lot of articles that I wrote about the technology. So yeah, all over. And thank you for asking me to speak with you. I enjoyed every minute of it.
Thank you so much. And remember, guys, that you can also find more information, interesting articles, interesting interviews, just like this one, directly on our website, ControlHub.com/builder-nation. We would love to hear from you. Once again, Udi, thank you so much for taking the time. We love having you on board.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.